All right, here we go. Today we have attorney Doug Weinstein, who represented Yak Gotti in the YSL RICO case and got him a non-guilty verdict. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you for having me on. I'm glad we could finally get together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you were part of one of the biggest trials in hip-hop history, so I think it was just important for me to actually get you on the show and talk about the whole situation. Now, what was interesting when I actually did research was this is your first criminal trial ever.
That is true. This is my first criminal, not my first trial, but my first criminal trial ever.
Okay, so why would Yak Gotti hire you when you actually had no criminal trial experience?
You know, it's interesting. I work with the Abt Law Firm. That is who I am with. And so Diamante, Yak, he hired Jay Abt and the Abt Law Firm to represent him. I recently came on board the Abt Law Firm, and I was, when this case started, heavily involved in going through all these terabytes and terabytes of discovery. And just the way it worked out is my knowledge, I guess, was so deep that I ended up, instead of kind of sharing the case together, and we all did work on the case, but I ended up being pretty much the primary attorney responsible for going to court, doing all the work. So it just circumstance. And we developed a very good relationship, and I think that helped.
Okay, so I want to give a little bit of the backstory on the whole case. So as we talk about it, it kind of makes sense in terms of what happened before. Now, you obviously were not involved in any of this back in 2015.
No.
But these are the events that kind of led into the RICO trial. So right around 2015, YSL and YFN began to have a beef. Now, the origins of the beef is a little murky. Some people say it's over the signing of Rich Homie Quan. Other people say it was over an altercation between Shell Kel and Lil Woody. But ultimately, it led into an event that happened on January 10th. But eventually, it led into a situation where on January 10th, 2015, Donovan Nut Thomas was murdered in front of a barbershop.
Right.
Now, according to the prosecutors, this was actually orchestrated by Young Thug. YSL Woody was the one who got the car, and they said that Yak Gotti was the driver in the actual murder. After the murder occurs, 2 other people were shot, and according to Nut's brother, as Nut was dying, he said, Young Thug had me killed. So, a bunch of nonsense goes on after this. A bunch of shootings, they say 4 murders, Hauser getting shot up, and so forth. And this actually leads up to the situation where RICO charges gets filed. Young Thug and 27 other people get arrested, including Yak Gotti in a 56-count indictment.
Right.
Now, Yak Gotti also faced additional charges because he was there when Young Thug got arrested. So he was facing 12 counts, including racketeering, murder, guns, drugs, and street gang participation. Is that fairly accurate?
That's fairly accurate. I would say 9 counts. He was facing 9 counts, but it doesn't matter. 9, 12, he was facing a lot of counts. And a lot of counts related to being at Young Thug's house when the police raided the home.
Okay, now when Young Thug's house was raided, they found, I believe, illegal guns as well as drugs as well?
They found a machine gun, they found drugs, they found some other guns. So yeah, they found all those at his house. His house was a party house. And that doesn't necessarily explain a machine gun, but it explains the drugs, explains the drink, or the cough syrup that was there.
Now, was Yak Gotti charged with those things as well?
What happened was when investigator Viverito went into the house, she said, and there were a lot of people in the house, she said, put everything in here on those folks that have priors. So they charged Young Thug, they charged Yak Gotti, my client, and they charged Duke Martinez-Arnold with everything that was in the house without any thought. They just put it all on them.
Okay, so how soon after the arrest does he actually hire you?
Shortly there, I would say within a month.
Okay, so now you're his client. What were some of the initial conversations like?
You know, it's interesting because, as you say, why did he hire me? And he didn't hire me. He hired Jay Abt and the Abt Law Firm. So I went out to visit him at Rice Street, where he was, and I got a bit of an icy reception in that, like, who are you? Which does happen sometimes, right? And his attitude toward me wasn't a lot different than other clients that I first meet. In other words, I don't know who you are. I understand you're with the Abt Law Firm. I don't know if you're someone who I can trust. So our relationship probably started, as it does with a lot of clients, a little cold, and then it warmed up over time.